Thank you. Honorable dignitaries, learned delegate, respected teachers, and dear students. With great privilege and immense pleasure, now I would like to welcome our respected principal, Dr. Sharad Phulari sir. We feel honored to have you with us. You are one of the respected dignitaries and has made us all proud with your distinguished work and numerous capabilities. Sir has 21 years of experience in teaching as an associate professor, 8 years experience as a principal, and has organized 28 conferences, 4 research projects completed under his guidance, 6 books, and 65 research papers in national and international conferences. Sir has also been awarded as the best teacher in best college by Mumbai University. Sir is a man of distinct vision and a fountainhead of illuminating ideas and a great mentor too. He is an idol of knowledge, experience, and an inspiration to all of us. Now, I would request Dr. Phulari sir to deliver his inaugural address.
Very good morning to all of you. It is an auspicious moon. It is a rising moment because today on 29 January 2022 we organized the International E-Conference. I repeat, it is an auspicious moon. It is a rising moment because today is there is an International E-Conference. Thakur Shyamnarayan Degree College, Mumbai and Tilak Maharashtra University, Pune organized today's International E-Conference. The theme of E-Conference is the role of managerial skills in entrepreneurship development. The role of managerial skill in the entrepreneurship development. This is the subject and a main theme of the International E-Conference. An academic association of Tilak Maharashtra University, Pune with this college is encouraging and inspiring. It is a really privilege to say me that we, the one college, is having a academic association with one university which was founded by the great independence warrior Tilak ji. So the university is Tilak Maharashtra University, Pune, and this college is having the academic association. Honorable Dr. Geetali Tilak Madam, officiating Vice-Chancellor of Tilak Maharashtra University, Pune, is guest of honor for this conference is a really inspiring. I repeat friends, because it is a proud words and proud moment for this e-conference, international conference that Dr. Geetali Tilak Madam, officiating Vice Chancellor of Tilak Maharashtra Vidyapeeth, Pune, is guest of honor for this international e-conference and really it is inspiring. Honorable Shivraj Nile, Associate Professor from China, is chief guest for this conference. He is wise person and logician personality. Honorable Shivraj Nale sir. At present, he is working in the China and he is the chief guest of this conference. Honorable Shivraj Nale sir is a really wise person and logician personality, and such a wise person and logician personality is a chief guest for today's international conference. It is a great honor to this college. I would like to add next Honorable Kazi Parvez Sir, Senior Account Director from the Chicago, US, is representing this conference as keynote speaker. Honorable Kaji Parvez, Senior Account Director from the Chicago, US, is representing this conference as keynote speaker. It's a really another proud moment. It's a crown to add in this international e-conference because Honorable Kaji Parvez sir is an intellectual authority in field of managerial skill. So the one of the intellectual authority in the field of managerial skill is nothing but Honorable Kaji Parvez sir, and he is part of this international e-conference as a keynote speaker. The great moment. It's a privilege to me to welcome to all these distinct dignitaries, delegate participants, organizer teacher, organizer participants, and a very wide pool of the students and every well wishers. Once again, it's a warm welcome on behalf of the college, on the behalf of the Thakur Shyamnarayan Degree College for this international e-conference. The successful organization depends upon moral economical supporters. So, very important to note that for any successful organization, there it requires moral and economical supporters. So, for this successful organization of international e-conference, the moral and economical supporters are given by the two great patrons. One of that, Sri V.K. Singh Sir. Sir V.K. Singh Sir is a chairman of Thakur Education Trust, and other patron, the great moral and economical supporter for this successful organization is Honorable Sri Rajesh Singh Sir. Honorable Shri Rajesh Singh Sir is a CEO of Jagru Singh Charitable Trust, Thakur Shyamnarayan Degree College, Mumbai. These are backing with funding, financing for this conference. The backing and financing for this conference is given by the Shri V.K. Singh Sir as well as Shri Rajesh Singh Sir. Because of their supports, the support is moral as well as economical, and that's how there is a successful organization is possible. I owe very much thankful to them. Of course, the execution of this international conference is very important, and the execution of this international conference is carried out by Soni Singh ma'am. She is coordinator of the management department of this college. I repeat, the Soni Singh madam, the coordinator of the management department of this college, and another coordinator for this exhibition is Honorable Mr. Ajit Khadilkar sir. Honorable Shri Ajit Khadilkar sir is a secretary of Tilak Maharashtra University Pune, and the execution given by the Soni Singh ma'am and Ajit Khadilkar sir is par excellence because of their skillful managerial part, the feasibility and the successful event management is nothing but today's international conference. Along with these coordinators, along these executors, we have to mention the Mrs. Vandana Mathur Madam. Her efforts are as a co-convener, and of course her efforts as a co-convener means excellent supports for this e-conference. So Mrs. Vandana Mathur Madam and her efforts are countless so as to have the excellence for this e-conference. Besides that, the team of the BMS department and the BAF, to mention Kajal Gala Madam, Shana Sheikh Madam, Sweta Singh Madam, Sagar Kunbi Sir, Priyanka Madam, Ruhi Main Madam, Ajay Gupta Sir, Snehal Patel, the sincere efforts of these members as an organization secretaries is worth mentioning for best organization of the research event. The best organization of this research event, the credit goes to the organizing secretaries, and I repeat that the organizing secretaries are Kajal Gala Madam, Sana Sheikh Madam, Sweta Singh Madam, Sagar Kunbi Sir, Priyanka Madam, Ruhi Main Madam, Ajay Gupta Sir, Snehal Patel Madam. So these are the members of the organization secretaries, and of course it's worth mentioning these teachers, the contribution of these organizers for the best organization of the research event. Let us hope this international conference will come out with the concrete thought process. I repeat that. Let us hope this international conference will come out with concrete thought process. Welcome once again to everyone, and once again wishing the best to the knowledgeful gathering throughout the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Principal Sir, for your valuable time and precious words to all of us. Now, on behalf of the college, I would like to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Shivraj Neeley. We are very grateful for him for accepting our invitation and becoming a chief guest of today's event. Dr. Shivraj Neeley has obtained MSc in Biotechnology in 2004 and has done his PhD in Life Science SRTM University, India in 2010. He worked as KU Brain Pool Postdoctoral Fellow from 2012 to 2014, Konkuk University, and he is currently working as an Associate Professor in Zhejiang Chinese Medical University, China. He has also worked previously as an Associate Professor in Konkuk University, Korea from 2014 to 2018. Sir has 11 years teaching and research experience in food science, cytochemistry, biotechnology, and nanotechnology. His expertise is in food science, biochemistry, pharmacology, natural products, nanotechnology, and drug discovery. His research mainly focused on functional food, natural colorants, drug development, food nanotechnology, and cytomedicine. Dr. Neeley Sir has more than 95 research publications, out of which 7 papers with more than 10 impact factor and about 35 papers having more than 5, including Trends in Food Sci Technology, Nanomicrolet, Food Chem Toxicol, Nutrition, Indcorp Products, etc. Sir also have 4 patents and 6 research projects on his credit with 15 national and international scientific research awards. I am certain that we all are moved and assured and want to become like him. Now, I would request our chief guest to address to our international e-conference.
Good morning to all of you. I'm Dr. Shivraj Neeley, currently working as an Associate Professor in Zhejiang Chinese Medical University in China. So, It's a great pleasure to be here to present a talk on the management skill and successful entrepreneur development and his or her management skill. Basically, a role of different skills to develop entrepreneurship in budding and young generation. So I'm very thankful to Phulari sir and Soni Singh madam. And today I'm presenting my talk on role of management skill in entrepreneurship development. As we know that today is the world of successful entrepreneurs or businessmen. Instead of going for regular jobs and all other things, if somebody want to develop a business, for example, we are familiar with different businessmen or tycoons, those who develop their skills in the current world by means of, like for example, Zuckerberg, Tesla, Elon Musk. These are the greatest leaders in current scenario, the current world. And due to COVID pandemic, we learn a lot of from experience a lot of things from the current situation due to the COVID pandemic. Because instead of having job, if somebody have the good business and have good skill to manage his knowledge or idea to develop different products to overcome like pandemic. So good entrepreneurship or good businessmen who can predict, who can develop products by the need of society and accept different challenges. So before going to in detail about the role of management skill in entrepreneurship development, so what are the qualities or what are the important aspects we have to discuss for a young and budding businessman? First of all, we know that our mind is a source of various big ideas, and for that we have to utilize our mind to develop different idea, and that idea can be executed in the business development plan, successful plan, and their action. So for business development, just first focus on different ideas, then execute that ideas or plan and take action, and after taking proper action, then develop business. So basically entrepreneurship is the art of is the art of starting business by executing our ideas, and basically it's a startup of company offering creative ideas, creative products, process, and fast service to the society. So small entrepreneurship is nowadays booming area, because small entrepreneurs are generally considered to be more effective compared to large entrepreneurship, because large entrepreneurship or large business, they are only focused on particular products, and they can control the huge amount of society. But small business, they can directly connect it to the society, and they can understand what the society or what the people need. So therefore, small enterprises are generally considered more effective and operative. They can respond very quickly and more flexible towards the society, and they can manage the raw data or raw products for big companies. For example, if some company, like big company, they want to develop different product, like for example TV or some herbal products for their different circuits, like for TV development or phone development, they need circuits or semiconductors. Even in herbal products, they need some herbal products. Herbal drugs, they need herbal products. So the small industries or small companies, they can provide the basic resources. As a role for successful entrepreneurship, one should know the time management skill. Second, business planning. Third, employee management. Fourth, customer management. Then sales management and financial management, and lastly, expanding business with the need of, thinking about the need of society. So basically, entrepreneurship or successful entrepreneur is who can create and design ideas. So creating and designing new idea and business according to market needs or society needs, and then doing that products or the product or business on his own or her on his or her own passion. So what exactly the young entrepreneurship or young people need? They need motivation, and they need achievement entrepreneurship. For example, for successful entrepreneurship, the person should be having a very proper management skill, strong team building ability, and leadership quality, and having foresight. So durdrushti. So these are the very important qualities. Now we'll discuss one by one. What is meant by time management? In time management, the businessman or the entrepreneurship should provide the young people, they should provide the product within a very short time and with high quality. So there are they should give priorities to time management. For example, also they have to satisfy customer with their time management. For example, in COVID period, the entrepreneur or the businessmen who developed different masks or vaccines, their success got very huge success, and they developed. So we have to understand the market need, and according to that we have to develop the product. Next, business planning. So considering the need of society or what kind of business we want to do, that is very important. So first plan the business, what kind of business you want to develop. So planning is very important. For example, make a blueprint and develop a new business. Good business plan consists of single document and divided into several pathways or sections. Like first, organization, then market research, sales strategies, competitive analysis, and financial data. So this is very important for business planning. Then employee management. For running a successful business, the employee or your workers are team workers or team leaders or group members are very important, because with their devotion you can run your company successfully. And for that, the boss or the company management should be very polite and very effective towards his employee. So management of employee is very important to develop a successful business. He should be good. What qualities should we think about the employees? Entrepreneur must know how to manage the people. Then second, he should be good judge of character and abilities of individual employee before hiring, and the strength of particular employee, and according to their strength we can manage or we can give job to the different employees. And for successful entrepreneurs should know how to motivate the employees in order to work effectively and contribute, garner customer experience. So this is very important for business development. Then customer management. Now we have business plan, successful business plan. We have financial support. Then we have our employees and all things. Even we have product. But what about the customers? What about the sale? So that is very important, because already the company or entrepreneur developed the product, but you should have good market. For that, customer is very important. An entrepreneur must know how to manage relationship with existing customers and also focusing on creating new customers with loyalty towards his business. This is the easiest and most effective method to increase the revenues through customers. Entrepreneur must have problem solving skill, communication skill, attorney. So for that we have to organize different seminars, then seminar conferences for customers, and we have to attract customers by providing them some gifts and some making some announcement which can attract your customers towards your product or towards your company. So that is very important for customer management and satisfaction. Then next, sales management. For selling your project, selling or selling is a very essential skill for every successful entrepreneur. you need to completely understand the sales activities, what kind of sale we have to do, and this helps to entrepreneur to tackle the challenge that they may face in their sale management journey. So higher the sale, the success ratio of your company is higher. So that is very important. Then last one is financial management. For like nowadays, the Indian government, even like many sectors, we are getting financial support to develop businesses. And I saw the current in India currently, many young budding people, they are coming forward and they are developing different businesses. For example, and there is a lot of scope to develop business. But before that, financial management is very important. First, you have to check your asset or your like financial status. Then apply for funding to different government bodies, different banks, and also you can discuss with your family and friends to develop your business. Even if your business finance is handled by accountant or finance professional, you must know the planning, organizing, and direction and controlling of all financial activities. Just don't like depend on the financial like accountant or other persons. You should know each and everything, like the incoming, the outgoing, like all things you should know, and you have to manage, and procurement and utilization of fund is very important. With a good financial management system, one can make decision to improve the business, and that will also help to like develop new product or new pathways for your company. So that is very important. Then next, finally, business management. So after knowing the employee skill, financial skill, ideas, and all things, being a successful entrepreneurship involves more than enthusiasm and good eye on new opportunities. A thorough understanding of essential business functions is important. For that, entrepreneur who want to take their business to the next level, they must have the complete knowledge of general management, marketing, operation management, purchasing, supply chain, human resources, and public relations. So that is very important. So these are the different skills for good entrepreneurship. So finally, for any business, if you want to do make a plan, so we have to first read different stories, successful stories of the great leaders or great businessmen like Tata, Ambani, Elon Musk, Facebook, the Mark Zuckerberg. So we have to read the success stories of different like entrepreneurs. Those are developed their business in world. And for young people, the willpower and ideas and their their education is very important for development of business. And there are a lot of different areas you can select for our business. For example, you can also now we are familiar with cryptocurrency. It was started in 2007 or 4. Now we can see the cryptocurrency started by one person, and now it is like the value of cryptocurrency nowadays is very huge. So that is also how one young person developed business. So development of business, you have to think the very properly, the foresight, durdushti. So what is the need of society, and in future what will be the effect of particular idea. So idea should be the very long lasting, not very simple or for a short period. So these are the different skills or roles we have to play for successful internships for development of successful business. So this is all about different skills in entrepreneurial development. So I'm very thankful to Phulari sir and the organized committee for giving me this opportunity, and I thanks to all audience, and I wish best luck for the upcoming entrepreneur or businessman. And I'm also welcoming all people to have discussion on my email or also on my number. Thank you all for your support and inviting me to present my talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Neeley, sir. Now, let's proceed further with the introduction of today's keynote speaker. He is an hotel management graduate and works as a senior account director at JLL, a leasing real estate agency in Chicago, US. He is an industry leader in the real estate facilities management space with over 18 years in pivotal role in multidisciplinary models of facilities and properties management of local, regional developers and government. He has also given a strong contribution in driving strategic growth for organization in the domain industry. He is a widely regarded as a thoughtful leader in facilities management space. So please help me welcome the man who has been described as a visionary thinker, rare intellect, unconventional views, and an unshakable optimistic person with ambitious and diligent personality, Mr. Kazi Parvez.
Very good morning to all of you. I am Parvez Kazi and I represent Jost Lang LaSalle, the organization which is in real estate in India. I'd like to thank Dr. Sharad Phulari sir, Principal of Thakur Shyamnarayan Degree College, for giving this opportunity to speak up in an international conference on the mentioned topics which I am going to talk about. The first topic definitely which comes to my mind is about the Startup India. Startup India is a concept which has been prevalent from quite some time, not about few years of a decade, more than that. But the terminology which we currently use, startup, was never been discussed or thought about. In last decade or so, we have seen this, that the startup concept has taken quite a shape, and I recollect my initial days a decade back when I used to hear about Dynamic Gujarat as a concept. That's where the initiation of startup as a business, where the recognition could come in, was considered. And I that time the Chief Minister of Gujarat was the current Prime Minister of India. I think that's where the thought got conceived, and clearly it was called out from a startup perspective how we will look at from India as a country. And I think that's where today you see when we talk about startups, there's a lot of investments happening there. The government is supporting this kind of initiatives to eventually look at growing further. And the basic fundamental of startup was to ensure that they have things made out of India. So Make in India was a concept which got generated. And while we talk about Make in India, I think we do realize in the kind of a generation which we have seen when we were growing up, we had more of the local products than the international products. And because of the investment policies which the government could bring in, a lot of international brands came into the country in different domains of industries rather. And which eventually led us to quite new brands and new concepts which were coming in the country. But somewhere, when we talk about Make in India, it still persisted and still continued, but it's like coexisting both the Indian brands and the international brands. So when we talk about the local brands, I think the Make in India concept is taking it in a large way, and of course not only in India, it is getting presented in the international community as well. So startup as a concept is somewhere where people come together in terms of starting their own businesses, and that is well supported by the government to initiate any new business which they want to start off with. In the recent times, I've seen certain programs where a lot of attention is given to the Startup India concept, and there have been platforms where people are encouraged to do more from a startup perspective. Today, when I look back, when I talk about or think about the Startup India as a concept, I think we are very proud to reach where we have reached. I think a lot of brands are getting internally recognized, not only in India, but also internationally. And today, a lot of products which are coming out, which is more of a Make in India concept. And I could see a lot of manufacturing setups happening in the country. One is, of course, the investments which are coming from the other countries and other regions in the global scenario. But however, a lot of Indian brands are setting up their bases in the country, and the government has given that option to operate out of this different states where they want to start up, and they do fund a certain amount of capital for running that kind of a business. So I think, in an overall sense, it's pretty overwhelming to see how local brands and local concepts can still be prevalent in the country, and it is how quality conscious we as a country have become, and kind of a product delivery which is happening. So for me, startup means and thought which can be generated in terms of knowing and doing the business, and then moving into a direction which can double up in terms of doing better business, and the kind of vision which is carried for the next 5 years, 10 years of doing that kind of a business. So for me, I think when I look back, there are many companies which get associated with us, which are startup companies. One of the recent ones which I can remember of was a technology company which started here in India, in Ahmedabad, and they wanted to do something very different in the energy conservation side of it. Trust us when I say this, 5 years down the line now, that company really has got recognition not only in India but also internationally. They've done pretty well. They invested at the right time. They got the right investors to invest at the right time, and I think the kind of vision they had to move ahead from a business perspective, they did pretty well. So considering that, I think this is where Startup India really helps. I would like to move to the second topic, and I think this is very interesting when it comes to Make in India as a concept. We do have a lot of businesses which internally keep on supporting other businesses also. So there is a concept which is known as MSME, and what impact it has in the local scenario. When I heard this terminology for the first time, MSME, I was always wondering, how does it benefit the supplier end of the day? But having said that, we work in an environment where we have to be very collaborative in terms of how we support our vendors or suppliers or the partners who work with us. Ideally, if you ask me, MSME as a concept was to only ensure that there is a protection to the people who are doing business with the larger businesses in terms of their revenue and their investments in their capital of the business. So considering that, I think MSME brought in a lot of synergy, because there was always a lag in terms of how the business used to operate in terms of service and delivery. But however, having said that, I think the concept to bring in was because there were times when the taxes concept was changing in India. We are moving into a norm from an absolute sales tax into a GST kind of a scenario, and that's where the need of the hour came in, because you had to submit your taxes in advance. And I think that's where things changed. The requirement of MSCB as a concept to become quite prevalent, and that's where it started getting adopted. Government took that initiative, and I think has helped all those kind of suppliers or vendors or the vendor partners to come into that group. Of course, there is a criteria to be a part of the MSME circle, but I think eventually it is also about discipline which needs to be carried out when you are doing that kind of a business. But having said that, I think it is predominantly getting utilized in the right way by ensuring that when you deliver, you serve, you get the payment back on time as committed. And I think that's where MSME as a rule or as a law is helping many suppliers and vendors in getting the payments on time. So I think it's here to stay, and I think it will go a long way when you talk about the MSME as a concept. When I talk about how it relates back, I think you and me all know, because it helps in actually recovering the revenue, at the same time being compliant towards all the aspects of the business, and ensures that we pay our relevant taxes back to the government on time, and there is no further delay. So it brings us a synergy as a cycle back into the economy and helps the economy to be much more stable. So no banks would have much more outstanding or liability to look at, and eventually the suppliers who are putting their money or the capital into the business are able to recover that on time. So that's how the MSME as a concept has really helped us. Now, when I look back before MSME time, it was not that bad either, but discipline definitely was missing. And with this act coming in, I think a lot of discipline in the business have come in. Of course, it has added on a lot of pressure to the finance team to really bring in a lot of synergy and discipline, and I think that has really worked in our favor, because initially when it started it was difficult to absorb and implement, but eventually it gave a lot of perspective to be carried out further. And eventually today what we see is really helping lot many small scale industries to be a part of the MSME Act and get their revenues collected on time and pay the government as per the taxes on time. Now the third topic which I would like to touch upon is event management. Personally, I am very well connected in terms of event management as a concept. My career started with an industry which was totally connected to the event management concept. It was a hotel industry, and event management played a pretty vital role, because where there are events there is food, and I was connected on those lines. And event management as a business, or as a part of the product delivery, or as a part of the functionality, I think it creates a lot of emotions there. When I say emotions, because when you talk about event management, everybody wants it to be the best by doing that. So event management can be categorized into lot many categories, like may it be a function, may it be a anniversary, it may be with respect to any rewards and recognitions, may it be with respect to any office get-togethers, may it be with respect to town halls of the businesses. I think overall event management works in a larger way. So when we talk about event management, the first thing which comes to my mind is planning, putting in action, and executing. I think this plays a very vital role when you talk about event management. Event management for lot many people is about creating a kind of impression about what we are celebrating, or what kind of a product launch we are doing, or what kind of a town hall we need to have in terms of reactions with the people, and how impressions can be created with that. So it definitely sends to different categories and criterias. But having said that, today when I look back at event management, I think it has played a very vital role in my career. I've been able to demonstrate myself conducting events for most of the companies where I worked for, and I think it's the best tool, best mode for offices or businesses to come together as a part of the event, or for any businesses to launch a product as an event, or for any function which needs to be celebrated as an event. So event management doesn't start only as a career. Event management is always a part of our life in every phase of our life, right from the beginning of the childhood till celebrating the kids' birthdays and all. So event that way definitely as an industry has a lot of prominence, and I think not many people, not many organizations have done pretty well there. So I'll now step into another topic, which is women entrepreneurship. I think today when we talk about diversity, it plays a very major role. Yesterday I was just having a look at one of the programs which is being run, which is Shark Tank. And I was just viewing it for the first time, and I could see quite a lot of entrepreneurs sitting there, and there was a lady entrepreneur also. And there was a person who walked in. She actually was representing her product, where she wanted to showcase what this product was all about. And the first sentence which came across in that discussion was, women entrepreneurs are definitely coming up in a larger way in last 5-6 years. I think this is only because of the opportunities which are available now. I think women entrepreneur today definitely brings a lot of versatility in the way the businesses have been done, the kind of acumen which is required to drive the business up further, and also they contribute largely in the way the entire economy is getting developed. I think if I recollect one of the discussions which I was doing with one of my friends, I had gone to watch a football match, and he said, you can always say that the game is evolving or is getting liked when you see women in the stadiums. And I think this goes a long way with respect to businesses as well. When you see women entrepreneurs coming in and doing the much needed requirement other than the basics ones which they are always known for, I think that's where evolution starts. And I think today when we talk, as I'm talking, the organization is in my organization today. The person who is heading it is also a lady entrepreneur. So I think eventually this has to get evolved. Diversity is part of life, which needs to be all the time aligned, and I think we are seeing that trend now coming in for us, and it's really helping big time. So when you talk about women entrepreneurs, there's many to name, but I don't want to name a single person to even out others. So they have done a lot of differences in the world of business today, and have made a lot of achievements which earlier never existed. So I think hats off to the women entrepreneurs who are really changing the world for us. I'll move on to the other subject, which is more of a franchisee business. I have been very aligned to this kind of business understanding, because my father used to run a franchisee business that was more into hotels, and he had picked up a franchisee business for a couple of good brands. And I could see how that has also helped overall in the way he used to run the business, because one is, of course, you get the recognition of the brand which is already there, and at the same time the quality and the delivery also is seamless, because it's standardized across the other cities and states and regions. So that in a way franchisee business has been quite substantially proved as a success from lot many years. May it be a food industry, may it be a retail industry, may it be with respect to any other businesses. I think franchisee business has always taken the first step towards improving the standards in terms of product availability across the market in India. So franchisee business definitely is something which, when we talk about startups, franchisee business is something which you can always align, try to understand the business pretty well and understand the dynamics of the business, and can later on move into the startup businesses as well. But I think franchisee gives you the umbrella which you need to start any good business or work with any businesses. I'll move on to the other subject, which is more about entrepreneurship in various other sectors and industries. I think we have spoken about how entrepreneurs work, women entrepreneurs also being a part of the journey now. So when you talk about entrepreneurs, the first thought which always comes to my mind is how business aligned are you? Because that is something which will always give you a stepping stone towards being an entrepreneur in life. Today we do so much work when we talk, work with companies. It's not that you cannot be an entrepreneur. It's all about ensuring that you take the right steps and move in the right direction with the vision which you carry when you start up on your own. I think I did see one of those platforms getting exchanged in Delhi, where the Chief Minister himself has launched that concept of raising the entrepreneurs from the childhood, and where they're going back into schools and looking at what the kids are able to do and how they want to be entrepreneurs in the coming future. I think that's where the seed is. We have to ensure that our learnings and our teachings in schools and other platforms are able to ingrain the entrepreneurship attitude with the kids, so that tomorrow when they grow up, they take their own decisions of moving ahead. And irrespective whether you work for an organization or you work for yourself, entrepreneurship is always something which drives you ahead. And I think irrespective whether you call it entrepreneurship at an individual level or at an organizational level, everybody in any industry where they are working are entrepreneurs by themselves. It's always about driving the business forward. And when you talk about sectors, industries, I've come across certain entrepreneurs. My personal, best choice has always been where I have worked already, and I've seen those people, those entrepreneurs, really turning it around from a business perspective. And I think nothing to take away from them, but eventually, if you see today, the world is about entrepreneurship, and there are many good examples which you can always look back and see how you can really, follow the path. I think there was a time, almost I would say a couple of decades back or even before that, where entrepreneurship was always not so challenging. But now with the opportunities coming in, with a lot of investments happening, the windows of the economy getting opened with different companies coming in, and so there's a lot of opportunities sitting our way as a country, and I think will definitely make a lot of difference in how we work as an entrepreneur for tomorrow. And if you ask me, what is the role of a management in creating those skills? I think it plays a very vital role. I personally myself has been a part of that experience where I have been, been mentored, been governed to see how we can, drive the business further, how entrepreneur skills can really help us in taking it forward. And eventually today, after almost close to 2 decades of my experience, I can always go back and say the people who have really taught me is the management where I've worked, and I think it plays very, very important role in driving those initiatives with the people and the team, and that's where a lot of governance comes in. As I said, if we can do that in schools and any other platform where the kids are growing up, that's the best way to move into an entrepreneur mode and move ahead with the skills which are prerequisite to become an entrepreneur. I'll just take a little pause here. I was just thinking about different sectors in entrepreneurship, may it be IT or a hotel industry, teaching. I just touched upon some bits of it in the earlier explanations which I was doing, food or FMCG. I think every 5 years there is always a bell curve which comes in every industry. When I talk about bell curves, it's a concept used in most of the businesses today, right from an HR function to the business functions as well. And I think what is vital to know is when you have a vision, how do you really work towards the vision? What is that is required for an entrepreneur to be really enterprising in what he does? I think keeping more versatile thoughts, knowing the competition pretty well, understanding the needs which are changing on a daily basis, knowing the market changes and the trends which are happening, I think that will always give you the skill sets to become more entrepreneurial in life. And I think that's what we are seeing. In my 2 decades, I have seen that happening and has made me a better person than what I was before. I'll just move to the next topic, which is logistics, supply chain, and distribution management. In the country today, when I talk about logistics, supply chain, or any distribution management companies, I think that's a long way to go there. We are still not yet structured in the way, probably some other countries are structured. Today, the only reason is because of the infrastructure. Now, the government has been quite intensively investing in the infrastructure across the country, and it is helping many logistics and supply chain issues to be resolved. I was in a discussion a couple of years back with a logistic CEO. So he was mentioning, Parvez, I can multiply this business 2 times, 3 times in the coming couple of years, provided I get the best infrastructure to support that. I think infrastructure plays a very vital role when you talk about logistics. If we have the right logistics, I think everything seamlessly works around it. Today, the TAT around any product delivery we see, despite having air cargoes, despite having logistic cargoes, despite having the road cargoes, we still have a challenge in the delivery of the product. But kind of companies which have come in from an e-commerce perspective are trying to see how the best they can change. But the problem is it's all aligned with hub and spoke modeling. When I say hub and spoke, it's all about having warehouses at the strategic locations, which in a way can be eradicated because that's an investment which a company has to do, and can be eradicated in case the logistics and the infrastructure becomes as simple as possible. And then the storage facilities are not required, and your movement of the goods can become as easier. There are certain policies which are there with the government, which they definitely are trying to work and see how best they can adapt to that, and the infrastructure can be improved. And if the TAT and the logistic warehousing needs it changes dramatically and gives much more versatile way of working, then I think this industry definitely will see a lot of boom. I have been envisaging some changes in the logistic industry, and especially warehouses, where a lot of developers have started investing there because they know a lot of corridors in the logistic world are getting aligned to the need of the new brands, new products, many transportations in terms of change which are happening. And when I say this, the first and foremost kind of industry which comes to my mind is relocation. That's the biggest logistic industry today in the global scenario. So I think India definitely can take that step and move towards making it much more organized. And I think the steps are already started off. And in the next 5 years, we'll see that changes in logistics also happening. I'll now step into the other topic, which is rural entrepreneurship. I think we have always been aligned to how urban, as a city, has always supported the growth of any business, and it is ideal because you need infrastructure, you need resources which are always available in the metro cities. And when you talk about rural areas, I think that's where again the infrastructure gap is always identified. But I've seen I wouldn't name certain city or a certain rural area, but I've seen in India things are changing pretty rapidly that side also. I was just talking to someone in the morning, and they said, earlier we used to all come together to do any kind of event in a rural area. But now that scenario is changing, and a lot of event management companies have come up or hotels have come up to create that for them. I think that's where the shift is happening. So in rural areas, a lot of businesses are flourishing at the same time because people are trying to ensure that they spend more in the rural areas, which was not the case earlier. They were quite happy and content, but now with the new generations coming in, the entire map situation is shifting. And when we talk about tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities, this is something where all businesses wants to be so that they are able to cater to the other business requirements and demands. That area is also absolutely changing. Tier 4, tier 5 cities are getting discussed today. I just had a chat a couple of weeks back, and we were looking at how the sequential, because I stay in Mumbai, how sequential it is to look at Pune and then eventually Nagpur. Because what Pune has seen as a growth, may it be from a IT perspective or FMCG, or may it be from banking industry. The same thing with the trend which we saw in Pune has been seen in Nagpur now, and Nagpur already has a metro. So I think logistically and infrastructurally, if you see the investments which are happening in the rural areas, that's the dynamics that are changing there. So from an entrepreneurial perspective, I think there's a lot of demand. The matter is only about the supply. If the demand is there and we can create that supply, the rural area entrepreneurship can definitely move leaps and bounds. I think the only gap which I see when you talk about urban entrepreneurship and rural entrepreneurship, it's all about availability of resources and the infrastructure. So I think more or less I was able to cover the topics. But if you ask me, there is more to this. You cannot cover everything in 20-30 minutes time. But I think what is ideal today in today's world is to look at what is more progressive. I think new generations like you will always look at adapting for the new technologies which are coming in. And technology is endless today when we talk about it. And of course, the pandemic has given a lot of boost to the technology as a concept across the industry. So I think being an entrepreneur, you have a lot of opportunities going forward, which probably we never had, but we made do with whatever we got. But with the new generation coming in, I think we will see more entrepreneurs than people working for other companies. Having said that, I think what is going to be very prominent is about how our kids are scaling up to deliver the expectation which is getting set now. I think we are the first generation. We are leaving something for the next generation now coming in, and how the second generation takes it up. And I can already see the second generation is really gearing up now. So I wish you all the best, and ensure that you do well. Lastly, I would like to thank Professor Soni Singh, the coordinator of BMS and BAF department, for inviting me in this conference. It was really very nice gesture and an experience with all. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, Qazi Parvez sir, for your precious time and sharing your views with us. Thank you. And now, let's have a short tea break.